for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and a very good evening. Welcome to Live Real Talk. My name is Faisal Kassim. It's been a minute since we had this conversation live because the last two interviews we had them unrecorded. We had Mari Mantovani, who is the head of communication from the BDS movement, that is boycott, divestment and sanctions. That is a movement that is meant to liberate the Palestinians from the brutal from the brutal Israelis, I beg your pardon. And of course, before that, we had the Lion, the DPP Director of Public Prosecution, that is none other than Noordin Haji, which was as well recorded. But tonight, we're here back in studio live again. It has been a feeling that I missed dearly, but welcome back and thank you so much for making time for us. My name is Faisal Kassim and tonight I'm having three amazing gentlemen to talk about matters to do with IEBC voter registration. In what can be defined as voter apathy, particularly, let's look at some figures here. As of October 19th, 2021, we had in Nakuru County, for example, only 19,694 registered voters against the backdrop of 309,384. That was the target by that time. And in Meru County, we had 15,286 against the expected of 114,773. In general, the voter registration exercise has seen some level of apathy from Kenyans not wanting to go out and turn out in large numbers. Besides politicians going out, holding rallies left, right and center, asking them and coercing them and rather luring them into voting as into registering as voting members. According to statistics, the highest percentage IEBC has hit in counties stands at 30%, and in some counties go as low as 7%, like Laikipia and Embu counties respectively. Tharaka-Nithi coming one of the best at 12%. I mean, something is wrong somewhere. And tonight, helping me to dissect into this topic, I have three amazing gentlemen from Mombasa all the way. Joining us virtually, we have Sheikh Zubeir Noor, who is the Mombasa County Council of Elder member. And then, of course, next to him, we have an aspiring member of parliament and an activist and a leader in the community, that is Fauz Khalid. And in studio, I'm joined by Vincent Kenvin, who is a human rights activist. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bona Vincent, thanks so much for making time for us this evening as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, great. So first things first, and I'm going to start with you. Start with the best among us, which is our elder all the way from Mombasa, Sheikh Zubeir Noor. According to the figures that I've mentioned earlier, we are experiencing some huge voter apathy in this country, and this is not the first time. We saw a similar thing happening in the year 2017, particularly in Central and Nyeri County, to be specific, voter apathy as well. So it's something that is more or less a trend in this country. Sheikh Zubeir Noor, what is not happening? What's wrong where, in your own opinion?
Thanks, Faisal, for inviting us once again to this prestigious session. And of course, your concern over what's really happening on the ground as far as IEBC and the ongoing registration that is taking place is very unfortunate, but of course, very tradition for people to come out not in large numbers, register themselves. But of course, you must take into consideration that Kenyans are going through real tough times right now. Of course, with the pandemic environment, curfew, poverty levels, and the other thing which is very unfortunate is that IEBC has not come out very open in trying to come up with the strategies of trying to create voter awareness and civic education, which is very, very important. They have left this job to politicians who have their own agenda. So I think it's very, very important that IEBC speed up this process and also carry out their mandate accordingly and ensure that, especially the areas which are marginalized, the issues that are very fundamental in terms of voter registration. Number one, we have youths who have missed out on the registration, on the ID registration, for example. People from marginalized areas are really being victimized in getting these IDs. And hence, this can actually be a stumbling block, a challenge for them to get IDs for voting. And then, of course, we talk about people who are disabled. How do they make it to the polling booths to go and register? Where are these polling booths or registration booths are placed? They have to be placed in such a way that it's convenient for the disabled. And of course, these people coming from major areas are really going to miss out. And of course, the weather also got on our side. I was in Malindi 2 weeks ago, and the animals are dying like anybody's business. In the next 2 months, if there's no rain, we are going to have people dying of hunger. So these are issues, and unfortunately, the politicians have put a blind eye on them. So it's upon IBC and the organs that are concerned to come up very strongly and ensure that people come out and register. We're not going to wait until during the elections time when people start waking up and start registering themselves. Then, of course, there's also issue of corruption. Yeah, nobody's going to come out now, convince them without anything in their pockets to go and register their votes, though it's their own right. So it's important the media also come out very strongly and create special awareness to ensure that your vote is your right, your vote is your voice, and the only way you can get rid of these corrupt leaders who have decided now to get all the resources in their pocket and forget about the millions of people in Kenya who are actually suffering. In fact, today, I don't know what is really happening. Really, there are some special policies. They try and strategize to make sure that Kenyans become poorer and poorer. So by the time we reach 2022, you can buy the votes at a throwaway rate, and that's the sad part of it. So unless we come out very strongly, civil societies, media, and everybody that's concerned, Kenya needs to change.
Okay.
It's high time that we need to change, and it's only through the voting, the ballot. At least for the time being, we can bring this change in this one.
Great stuff. And I want to ask the same question to one of us, Khalid, who is next to you before I come to Vincent Kenvin. He's in the studio. But of course, Khalid, you are a leader in your own right within the community. And Grapevine has it that you are an aspiring member of parliament from Vita constituency. But of course, we are having 12 to 13 days at least to the end, to mark the end of the 30 days mass voter registration in this country. Some of the reasons, some of the people on the streets have claimed as a reason as to why they don't want to register as voters, neither do they want to take part in this voter registration exercise, is based on Governor Kimemia's remarks on a national television on the 22nd of September 2021, coming out and acknowledging the existence of deep state that influence elections in this country. Bonafaz Khalid, what do you take of that? Is it a reason enough for Kenyans to stay back at home and don't vote because either way, whether they vote or not, the results are predetermined? Bonafaz.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Okay, like my elder said, vote apathy is as a result of many factors. One of which is the pandemic that we are going through, and then second, the economic situation in the country. I think I do agree with him, but importantly, is the IEBC. The government of Kenya has denied them funds for sensitization. And without sensitization, I think the message is not out there. The people have to know the importance of getting the vote and voting, because like they say, bad leaders are voted in by the citizens who don't vote. And like my elder said in the Zubeir, many of the people in the marginalized societies like Coast and Northeastern denied IDs, and without which you can't register as a voter. So in a way, they get disenfranchised, which is against the constitution of Kenya. So I think Kimemia's statement also could be also a reason why people are keeping off registration. But it should not be a reason, because the deep state is there, yes, and it was there in to during that momentous moment of Yote Wezekana Bila Moin. And like the way things went, Kibaki was voted in by the masses who have the final say. And I think it is possible also for the people to win this time around, with or without the deep state.
But Fauz, Khalid, you as politicians and as leaders, you have not come out to dispute the fact, or rather give an alternative voice for as far as this deep state is concerned. So what has settled in Kenyans is that whether we vote or not, the results are already predetermined. So there's no need of wasting our time queuing up. There's no need of queuing up to go and register as a voter, because at the end of the day, the winners are known by the deep state.
I think Kenyans will stand up. I do believe Kenyans will stand up. The same way we did in 2003 when Kibaki won the elections against the current president, Kenyatta, who was the choice of the deep state. And this time around, I think it will be the same thing. I have confidence in that.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. We're going to come back to you right there in our Mombasa studios. But right now, let me just bring in my brother inside the studio, Vincent Kenvin. Vincent Kenvin, of course, still the same question, because it's our overriding subject this evening. IEBC mass voter registration updates and challenges so far, because the voter turnouts are extremely low according to the figures that we have been presented with for as far as the voter registration is concerned. And of course, we cannot discuss voter registration in isolation. First, I'm going to ask you to weigh in into the question that I asked your fellow panelists, and then I'm going to ask you a follow-up question on that. Vincent, why is Kenya experiencing a low voter turnout in this country right now?
Thank you, Faisal, and thank you for inviting me to this studio for the conversation. I'll mention three things as to the reason as to why we have low voter turnout. One, there is what we call, if you want people to come out and vote, I believe that IEBC have a location for creating awareness for people to come out and vote. So they have to do this in the 47 counties within this country. Secondly, in Kenya we have what we call IDs backlog, whereby people apply for IDs, but if they go to collect these identification cards, they are told that they are not ready. Come after 3 weeks, come after 3 months. But in real sense, if they go back, they are still being given stories. Then we have a special group, people living with disabilities, who ensures that they have registered as voters. So I think we have to ask ourselves questions as a country. Then the third thing is that this year's how people are going out to register. I think in Kenya we have what we call deep state or system. People have been voting, but their democratic right has actually been has not been adhered to. I vote, but at the end of the day, we have system that will determine how elections were. So I think, to me, I can say that people are tired, and not unless we address this as a nation, then we will still experience the challenges we are seeing in regards to the registration of voting.
Who to address it as a nation? You say we to address it as a nation. Who exactly? As a nation, we are so many, a lot of stakeholders. There's a political class, religious class, people are many, so who exactly?
Let's when I say we, this is a country.
Where does
And
the buck stop,
I'm
Vincent?
talking to the government. The government have to come out clear when it comes to elections, because each electioneering year we have issues. People vote, but their rights are not being adhered to, because by the time I'm voting, I'm coming out as a Kenyan to vote. That is my democratic right. But at the end of the day, if the deep state or the system is making decision on how the elections will be, then I think people are seeing, or people are making decision that even if I register today as a voter and go out and vote there, at the end of the day, my vote won't count.
Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission would easily challenge your sentiments and say, if you have issues, go and challenge any results whatsoever in a court of law. That is why there is a whole act on amendment and the election petition. Have you done that? Have you challenged the figures in court?
No. I cannot do that because I don't have evidence, but it's something that is being seen with everybody in this country.
So basically, it's just a perception.
It's a perception, and it's my thinking.
Which can be right or wrong.
It can be right or wrong, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because what I'm saying is, people think that, I think people feel that they are tired. They are tired because they wake up early in the morning to go and vote, but at the end of the day, their votes don't count. We have a system that puts the results in place. That's the problem.
Great. But Fauz, Khalid, you are a leader as well, and I cannot insist this enough, and because I've also seen your tweet, maybe final question before you go on a very short break. I've also seen your tweet spreading the message and awareness about the disappearance of one Mishawar, Muhammad, aka Mishawar. Do you think, by any chance, this might have contributed to the voter apathy in a way or another? Because I don't want to say the irresponsibility of the elected leaders, or rather the appointed leaders in respective arm of governments or in respective positions within the government to ensure safety and security of the citizens. But do you think the extrajudicial killings in some parts of the area and enforced disappearances is a reason of this low voter apathy in this country? Fauz, Khalid.
First and foremost, I'm known to the young man in person. I know him in person. Mohammed Abubakar Mishawari, aka Mishawari, is a poet. He's a very good young man. And I'm surprised that he was abducted right from the Masjid Azhar, right here in Majengo. They came for him and they caught him. And he was the first or the last one to be abducted. My own nephew was once abducted, and we made noise on Twitter. And Kenyans of Goodwill joined me on Twitter, and we made noise until when the young man was brought back. But with the case of Abubakar Mishawari, he hasn't yet been brought back, and I think it's now the 9th day today, and we do appeal for his return, for his early return. And yes, the abductions and the extrajudicial killings could have a direct effect on the effect on the outcome of the voter turnout. The government should make it a point that people get justice. If anyone is a suspect of any wrongdoing, we have laws here. We have institutions that are there that use government funds to to do the right work that they are supposed to be doing. And extrajudicial killings or abductions should stop. And yes, they have an effect on the turnout.
Great. Bwana Zubeir, Noor, this is not the first time you're having this issue about extrajudicial killings. I've had Bwana DPP Nurdin Haji, and I've put him on the spot about the same issue, and they said that they are following it up, and they are working with Haki Africa and other civil society organizations and other key stakeholders in this case. As a member of the Mombasa County Council of Elders, what are you doing for as far as enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings is concerned? Because it's one of the counties that has been hit hardest for as far as this case is concerned. What have you done? Any solutions, any proposals that you brought on the table to address this issue at least once and for all?
Faisal, we are in a very sad situation in this country where young boys, young men disappear without proper explanation. Number one, that is the violation of your human rights, violation of freedom. It appears that the people that are up there, they have no concern whatsoever for the rule of law, the constitution, and the rights of freedom of people. We as Mombasa County leaders, we are making a noise. We are engaging the authorities over this matter. Very unfortunate. And the worst scenario is that in this country today, we don't even have the opposition. Opposition is dead. Yeah, and we are left with human rights bodies and individuals and families crying all over, trying to see how they can recover their children. This is a cowboy way of ruling this country, which is unacceptable. So, in my opinion, I think apart from the media, apart from these bodies fighting and advocating for the rights of people, it's probably the only way we can use this voter registration and get as many people as possible to register. Whether IEBC is going to create awareness or not, Wananchi now have the right now to change the way we are going to live in this country. We cannot allow this kind of cowboy policies in this country to operate. It's very unfortunate. So I'm appealing to all Kenyans. If you really want to have change in this country, everybody must come out and register. Whether you're going by foot or by road or by car, whatever it is, or botany, you go and register as many numbers as possible. Numbers will make a difference for us to make things in this country.
Thank you, Jazakallah khair. And I'm being informed that it's time to pay our bills. But Vincent, I know I've touched on a topic that directly deals with you being a human rights activist. And we're going to get back to that. I know you're banning to comment. Okay. Just hold on that thought, because we're going to get back after this very short break. We get to hear more. One, about the EJK, extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. Let's know the war against COVID, how has it impacted voter registration? In his first answer, Noor Zubeir from Mombasa mentioned about the curfew and the war against COVID and corruption being one of the issues that might have contributed to the voter apathy. So let's put that more into the table and dissect it deeper and deeper and deeper and get facts, nothing but facts. My name is Faisal Kassim. Please baki papo hapo, wacha tuchukue mapumziko mafupi tuweze kupiga tama la maji au chai, kisha tutarejea baada ya muda mfupi.
Indo kutoka sindo hiyo kuzunguka kwa mandazimu zao.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر، 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 الله
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ndugu wa Islam, taasisi hii mnayoiona ni Tanzil Education Center iliyoko maeneo ya Jomvu ndani ya mji wa Mombasa. Inalenga taasisi hii kuwahifadhisha wanafunzi Al-Qur'anul Karim pamoja na kuwafundisha masomo yao ya dini na dunia. Alhamdulillah, ujenzi wa msikiti ndani ya taasisi hii umekamilika na ujenzi wa bweni la wanafunzi pia umekamilika alhamdulillah. Lakini maa alasafi shadid, ujenzi umesimama katika hizi madrasa classes. Tutarajia insha Allahu taala ujenzi ukikamilika, zaidi ya wanafunzi 300 wataweza kufaidika na masomo yao ya dini na dunia ndani ya markazi hii. Ndugu wa Islam, wengi huwekeza katika mabiashara na wengine wakawekeza katika majumba na wengine wakawekeza katika magari, lakini ndugu yangu Muislamu, uwekezaji ulio bora ambao una manufaa hapa duniani na kesho akhera ni uwekezaji wa sadaqa jaria. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu mwanadamu anapokuwa anakwenda mbele za haki atatamani uwekezaji huu na kusema, laula akhartani ila ajalin qaribin fa asaddaqa wa akum min as-salihin. Ewe Allah, lau utanipa muda mchache kidogo ili niweze kutoa sadaqa, na mimi niwe katika waja wema. Ndugu yangu Muislam, tushirikiane katika kukamilisha ujenzi wa madrasa hii ili tuwe ni wale ambao wamewekeza katika uwekezaji bora, uwekezaji ambao manufaa yake ni duniani na akhira. Akhi fillah, jenga akhira yako zaidi ya vile unavyoijenga dunia yako.
Furaha ya nyumba ni familia, na furaha ya familia ni uwepo wa chakula kitamu. Kwa mapishi matamu ya aina mbalimbali, usikose kuungana nami Mariam Salim ndani ya idhaa ipendayo Horizon TV.
Quote of the day. Uthman bin Affan radiyallahu anhu said, "Do not quarrel and do not create differences among yourselves. Hold fast to the rope of Allah and maintain unity in your ranks."
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Live Real Talk. My name is Faisal, Kassim. That was an off-guard, but asante sana for the countdown. Tukiendelea na mazungumzo hapa ndani ya studio, we are talking about voter apathy and IEBC voter registration exercise that should be coming to an end in the next 12 or 13 days. It was just supposed to be a 30-day mass voter registration. That so far we've seen what we can describe as voter apathy. Now, we were just trying to look at what are some of the reasons that... Buddha, thank you so much. He just brought me water. He just brought me water, happened, and I said, thank you so much, Mohammed Samubura. We were talking about what are some of the reasons that might have contributed to voter apathy in this country. And we mentioned about extrajudicial killings. Is it failure on the part of the elected or appointed leaders who are supposed to ensure the safety of the citizens? Is it failure on their end? As a result, people are feeling that there is no need to vote either way. And it's something that is directly touching on my guest in studio, Vincent Kenvin. Vincent, extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances, is it a reason? And when are we expecting to have at least a long-lasting solutions on that? Vincent.
Thank you, Faisal. To me, I might say that extrajudicial executions or extrajudicial killings might be a reason as to why people are not turning out to register as voters, and it might not be a reason because, one, if you are talking of people registering to come out and if you're talking of people coming out to register as voters, the first question we need to ask ourselves, do these people have IDs? Because I believe that most of young people outside here don't have IDs. And in Kenya, for you to attain an identification card, you must have, during the application, you must have the birth certificate and you must have a living certificate, either for Form 4 or Class 8. So the question is, did people apply for IDs? Because we might be asking people to come out and register as voters, but they don't have IDs. In regards to extrajudicial killings, I believe in Kenya we have an independent institution, which is known as Independent Policing Oversight Authority. And whenever we have extrajudicial executions or extrajudicial killings, then perpetrators must be brought to book. And I'll say here, without any fear, that we have cases of extrajudicial executions that are in court, but we've never got verdict in regards to those cases. You go to court, you are being given another date for the hearing. You go to the date that you were given. You are given another date of hearing. So you wonder, which country are we in? And as Vincent, I'll call upon the independent institutions like the IPOA, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, to wake up and start fighting for these things out. Let people get justice and let people know their rights and let people believe that there are institutions that can sort our problems.
Are they trusted, these institutions, before even sorting our problems? Are they helping us and protecting us from such problems? An example is the police, who are supposed to ensure the protection. Of course, the president has come out and said that usalama unaanza na mimi na wewe. But still, they are entrusted, we entrust them with our lives. Some of these people are suspected, according to some civil society organizations, some of these people who are supposed to be protecting our lives are suspected to be actually be the perpetrators of some of these heinous acts. So, even before these people offering and giving us justice, as these institutions, their counterparts, providing us with enough to protect us from getting into such heinous acts?
I'll say that there is a sickness in our country that is called investigation. And this investigation, whenever you know that a certain perpetrator have done a mistake, mimi sijui uchunguzi inakuanga gani, Kenya inakuanga uchunguzi. These institutions do investigations that they don't give us, how will I put it, they don't give us what we want to see. You will find that a Kenyan is coming out to an institution that he or she knows will assist his problem or her problem, reporting that person A from polling station B did this at this time on this and this and this, and here is the evidence. Then you will be told, okay, we are doing investigation. Which investigation has these independent institutions do that we cannot say as a country that they are helping us? Because, for instance, I'll say that IPOA have failed us because they are perpetrators that have not been brought to book. You see? And talking of extrajudicial executions, they are there and they are being done by police officers. That is right, and it's a fact. But when will we see that a police officer or a perpetrator who killed a Kenyan have been brought to book and action have been taken?
Kianjokoma brothers, some perpetrators were brought to book. Were they not?
They were.
Exactly. So you as a human rights activist, you say IPOA has failed us. What exactly have you done for as far as that is concerned, as a human rights activist and defender?
You see, we have different institutions that deal with different things. Mm-hmm. As a Kenyan, when I have a problem with a state actor, for example, a police officer, the only institution that I can report the matters to do with police officers is the IPOA. So when I take my complaint to the IPOA, I expect the IPOA to take that case up and run with it as fast as possible for me to get justice, or for any Kenyan outside there to get justice. Mm-hmm. So for us, we can just take those matters in regards to the extrajudicial executions to IPOA. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to go back again all the way to country 001, where we have Zubeir, Noor and Fauz Khalid. That is Zubeir Noor, Mombasa County Council of Elders member. And Fauz Khalid, who's a politician and aspiring member of parliament, Mvita constituency. War against COVID and corruption. In the interest of time, we're going to integrate that, and I'm kindly asking you, while answering this question, just try and integrate the answer. His Excellency the President, on the 20th of October, during Mashujaa Day celebration, in his speech, he mentioned about uplifting of curfew, which the dusk till dawn curfew that he imposed on Kenyans for quite some time in a bid to curb the spread of the deadly COVID-19, the coronavirus. So how do you think this has affected, one, the political dispensation and activities in the country, and the ripple effect of that in the voter registration? I'm going to start with you, Fauz Khalid.
Well, with or without the curfew, I think political activities in the country have been ongoing. Even in the middle of the pandemic, you could see that the curfew or the restrictions were targeted at the poor. But the politicians, on the other hand, could have their own rallies everywhere. You could see people going like around the country, conducting rallies. But at the same time, the worshippers could not go to the churches and the mosques. Schools were closed, citing protocols, COVID protocols. So I don't think the curfew or the restrictions had any there were any reason for the people to be restricted. And yes, the voter apathy is attributed to the corruption. Like for instance, the Kemsa cases, nobody has been charged. They are just names that go around, but I think because of the influence that the perpetrators of the corruption have in the government, that's the reason why none of them has been charged. So I think the people are also tired. They're like, no, we can't do this. We can't register to vote because it's of no use, because these people are too powerful. So my appeal to the people is that no, your vote counts. Please go register. Your vote counts. Your one vote counts. And after voting next year, stay there, protect the vote, and inshallah all will be well.
Thank you so much. Bwana Zubeir, Noor, political temperatures have risen in the country over the past few months, and we're looking at approximately, I think, 9 months away to the 8 to 9 months away to the next general election. But the political temperatures in the country, my goodness, they are not as good. If anything, they are sending warning shots day after another, because we are seeing people, sometimes some political figures are being attacked left, right, and center. An example is presidential hopeful Jimmy Wanjigi was attacked in Migori County the other day. And of course, other acts of violence that have been witnessed in the country. As elders, as an elder, what exactly are you planning to put in place, or have you put in place as a contingency plan to avoid any sort of skirmishes to take us back to the unfortunate 2007-2008 post-election violence?
Thanks, Faisal. The situation is not very rosy, and if you go back a couple of weeks ago, when former Chief Justice Maraga said the drums of war are banging. Yeah? You find some other communities, they claim that they own this Kenya 40%. Yeah? So the rest don't really matter. So you're sending a message that we are the ones going to rule this country for the rest of our lives. So it's a very sad situation, very complicated. People are tired, people are poor, people have got no jobs, there's no employment. And the way they manage the curfew and the COVID is like punishment to the Kenyan people. In fact, if you go to many departments, they've adopted the systems which are unpractical, they're causing a lot of inconvenience. I give, for example, today, the people who have applied for IDs are not just IDs. There is lack of birth certificates in the whole country. The last time Mombasa received the driving license was in June. If you go to immigration offices, prior to COVID, they were serving about 150 people a day. Today, only 60 people. So there are people waiting to get their passports, and they've been told to wait for another 3 months. These are potential workers going to overseas, going to Middle East. These are jobless people trying to fight COVID to go and look for a job and get their passes away out of this country. What do you expect this people to be? So these are potential thugs. Yeah, these are being created by these kind of policies. So we as elders, having experienced what happened in 2007, we are engaging authorities because we cannot do anything other than just engaging them and guiding them and counseling them, working with other organizations, these organizations that can bring a lot of changes. So as elders, we have a big role to play. But unfortunately, if you look at the kind of politicians we have today, are they willing to listen to Wazir? You know, the Wazirs have been ignored completely by the leadership in this country. They don't even know that they are going to the Wazir for reconciliation and any other intervention that is required by the Wazir to intervene. Last week, the Parliament, or I don't know, the High Court, decided to revoke the qualification of a degree of MPs and MCAs. So what kind of leadership are you expecting to go and fight for our rights in the National Assembly and the MCA and the assemblies? It is a very pathetic situation, by the way. So in our opinion, that we as Kenyans, whether you are old or young, if you don't see what's really happening in the country and not taking part, to be part of the change that is required, then you wait for the worst. So I'm begging Kenyans, there's an opportunity to change this country. Of course, COVID has been a real issue, and COVID is going to be here forever, just like any other disease, like malaria and AIDS. We have to live with it. But we should not be subjected to harassment. Today we have COVID, and then you allow SDR to operate, and buses not operate during the night. How many drivers, how many people from Mombasa up to Lolongo are jobless today? So these are issues that are very critical to our lives. Today people can't pay the school fees. Landlords are having difficulty in getting the rent for the tenants. It is not surprising, therefore, the president recently, or yesterday only on 20th, gave a reprieve for those people who have loans of under 5 million to be given time to repay the loan. If you go to other parts of the country, the youths and the farmers are enjoying huge facilities. When you come to the coast, what's happening to our fishermen and the farmers? Where are our leaders? So, Wananchi, it's high time we wake up.
Great.
If you don't wake up now, my friend.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Mzee, for your wisdom. Running seriously out of time, and I'm going to give this opportunity to Vincent, who I saw noting down to react to what his counterparts, the panelists, have answered in their respective questions. Vincent.
Thank you, Faisal. I just wanted to say that COVID-19 affected many Kenyans, and many people are still struggling to come back to normal. Then we have a digital world. And in this digital world, we also have digital youth who don't care. And asking them to go and take votes, ni kama unawapigia kelele. So it's high time IEBC should come out and sensitize or empower these young people on the essence of attaining their voters card. And also for those who applied for the national identification card, the IDs, just go to where you applied for your ID, attain your ID, have it, go where you always vote, and ensure that you vote or take your identification card. Because I always say that the change we want to see in this country starts with an individual. So if I want to see the change starts with me. So if you love this country, just go outside there and register as a voter so that you ensure you elect a leader that you want. That is your democratic right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Vincent. In the interest of time, because Waswahili kama Muhammad Samobura angekuwa hapa ndani angesema muda unanipa kisogo. I would really love to get the final rounds of parting shots. However, my director and producer for tonight, Abdul Ghafoor An-Nasir, who is standing in for my beloved producer, Suleiman Nachasa, is telling me that we are running out of time, and that may not be possible. But again, just taking from what all the three panelists have said in unison, of course, in different answers, that the change that you want to see has to start with you as a citizen of this country. So wanasema toka pale nje na nenda kakate kura yako, then tuangalie if you can inspire the change that you want to see in this country. My name is Faisal Kassim, and this has been the Live Real Talk. So see you next week, simply same time, as we are tackling yet another topic that you, the viewer, has requested and want to listen and know more about. See you next week, same time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Una one point nimesahau.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Furaha ya nyumba ni familia, na furaha ya familia ni uwepo wa chakula kitamu.